Hi friend, today we are going to be doing a retake of the very loose expressive watercolor chamomile. Due to technical difficulties and getting used to new equipment, I had no sound on the last video. Didn't really realize it until the film was already up. I apologize from the bottom of my heart. So, moving forward, we once again are going to be painting these very loose, very expressive chamomile. So, moving on and moving forward, doing that. Then, if anybody's interested, on February 2nd at the Findlay Art League, if you're in Northwest Ohio, I will be teaching a introduction course on watercolor. Yay! I am overly thrilled about it. I am, honestly guys, I am really excited. It's my first in-person class. But you would sign up online under the Findlay Art League. So, I am definitely looking forward to that. And then, for July, if you guys have been liking what you see in these videos, I will be offering a wildflower course with some of my favorites. So, I am really looking forward to that. So today I am using my Boa Hong Academy watercolor paper. I am using once again my Roman Smalls Jane Blundell Ultimate Mixing Set. But if you don't have that, you can use like a Hansa Yellow Light or a Cad Yellow. But basically a yellow. You can have it a little warmer or a little cooler depending on your preference, but I am going to take some of this Hansa Yellow Medium and a little bit of my quinacridone Gold. I like to call it Quin Gold, and I am going to go ahead. I want to make sure you guys can see everything, making sure my mic is working, and do this. So we're gonna go ahead, and I want my little reference photo. I want to put one here. So in the YouTube thumbnail, I am just going to be putting like a take 2. So for those who have watched my first video, I know exactly of why I'm having to do this. So then I'm going to teach you guys a technique. For those who are new, we're going to do a little bit of lifting. So we take a little bit of the brush and just lift a little bit of that color. And then what I would like to do is take in a little bit of this quinacridone Gold and just dabbing it in. I think the next flower we're going to do is a Echinacea. I think that's how you say it. But it's a purple cone flower. And I am really looking forward to it. I have been growing in the garden many different things. And that will be the things right now I'm painting. I have been so inspired by what's in my garden. So hopefully I'm working on that. I'll be having a plein air video soon out in the garden, and we can do some more loose florals but outside. I think that will be fun and exciting. I love plein air. So I'm just adding a little bit of the burnt umber. And if you guys hear the birds in the background, I am terribly sorry, but It's a thing when you're a bird mom. I am designing a sticker. I can't wait to show you guys about the birds. Oh my gosh, it is so funny. Total bird humor. If you have a bird, you totally get it. But got a little bit of water there, but that's okay. But I'm taking a little bit of this Indigo mix, and I am watering it down. You want to get it to almost a white. Look at that. I want to make sure you can see. You can. I like to test out the colors and show you guys when I remember. And then that is that mix. And then here's a yellowish gold, like the yellowish gold color. And so what we're going to do is I want to do a mixture of warmer and cooler colors because we can. And I think it will make it really pretty. But the first one, can you guys see? Yep. Making sure everything's in range. Now you can either do this with the brush you're using, or what I like to use for petals, because it just makes it so easy, is using a filbert brush. I am using a 1/4 or a 6mm Winsor & Newton Cotman filbert. And these are very lovely because the point is round and it like makes almost like a petal shape. So we're gonna go ahead, and hopefully this is still wet because I want a little bit of the bleed. But my chamomile, I have been able to get fresh chamomile almost every day because I love hot tea. I am very much a tea drinker. And I have been trying to drink a little bit more naturally, and having more of my own herbal type teas. But in a chamomile flower, they're kind of like spaced out. And these are going to kind of curve a little. So I want to make sure they're like fat enough. At first, I wasn't driving with the flowers, guys. I'll admit it. Okay, I love how that looks. But I think I want this one to be a little bit on the grayer side, so I'm going to take a little bit of the shadow gray. You guys can use natural gray. You can make your own between burnt sienna and ultramarine. There's all kinds of stuff you can use. But basically whatever color you choose, you just kind of want to water it down because you just cannot really do a white in here. So you can see I'm trying to get it to where you can see, but it's like a real light, almost grayish. So we're going to go ahead, and this one time I want the flower to go this way. You can even use your filbert for the center of the flower. And I love how that looks. And then I'm going to just take once again a little bit of this cypress burnt umber, or like a brownish color, cypress brown here. I'm still trying to get used to these Roman Smalls colors. I'm used to my Winsor & Newton and Danielle Smith, especially my Danielle Smith. But I started out on the Winsor & Newton Cotman, and I have to admit, I'm still a fan. Totally can fangirl over it. So, okay. So we got that put in, and I want to do these flowers. I'm going to put one over to the side, kind of just dropping it in, and kind of same here. And things are going to bleed, and that's what we want. We want that loose look. because that's what's going to make this really loose. And just having fun, because that's the main thing, guys, is just letting loose. And see, that's too much water, so if that happens, you just can kind of take your dryer brush. I'm putting mine on a sponge, but you can use a paper towel, and we can fix that. And I will show you how once this dries, but water control is very important. Even if you're using 100% paper, it's just a little bit more forgiving, I think, on that. But just kind of working on our petals. I'm going to go ahead and just taking a pinch more of that, because it seems like we're losing it somewhat. And I am going to drop that color in on some of these, because I want it to be a little bit more on the bluish side versus the warmer side there. But the key is just loose, trying to keep your movement very expressive. Okay. And every time you do this, they're gonna look different. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of this yellow in, and then just a little pinch, because we can always go back in to brighten things up. I just wanted to have it somewhat there. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna go ahead and I want to put one up here. Kind of like so. And then taking more of this brownish color. And for this one, I just kind of want to make around like this. And I'm going to show you that you can do a different color. I think when you pick like various colors, it really helps on giving the picture a little bit of dimension. So why don't we just take a very, I'm going to say like a very slight pink, it's purple, with a little bit of that yellow. Watering it down. So it's almost like a tan. I'm just going to add a little bit of buff titanium in there. And for this one, we're going to make it as if it's facing. So what we're going to do, try to have the little thicker and go into a little thinner. And just kind of dabbing it. That's kind of the nice thing with flowers. You just can kind of work it. Making sure I don't have too much fluid. You don't want too much water, because you still kind of got to control it. But you want that loose movement, you know. Having a little tapered and a little fatter at the ends. And then kind of giving it a little bit of like curling it out a little tiny bit. Kind of like so. And you can do the petals in like little thicker if you want. It don't have to be perfect. That's the point of trying to keep these loose. Kind of pressing down and then kind of tapering it off like so. honestly, like I said, I thought, for me, it was a little harder, I think. To me, I always thought like flowers were hard. But then I just kind of just started really looking at them and thinking, well, how can I do this? You know? I knew the effect I wanted, but I wasn't quite getting it. And you guys can space these out just a little different, you know? And see that bleed there? Very pretty. And making them a little longer here because they're towards you. So keeping perspective a little bit in mind, you know. I mean, it's still loose, but you still want to have the right thing. And then let's do this last petal. Okay. And I am loving how this looks. And we can take a little bit more of this brownish color, putting it in slightly there. Lovely. Going back, and this is still wet, and that's the thing with 100% cotton paper. You can kind of still work it a little bit. And then we're going to do like a flower facing like this way, kind of, so it's more like, kind of, you'll see. I'm not the best at describing it, so, but basically then you want one like this. Okay. And then I want to take some more of this umber color, and while it's still wet, I'm working it around like so. And I want to go back, I think, to a little cooler color, maybe with a little bit of a purple, like a purplish gray. So it's just adding some of that purple in there. You can mix your own if you want. And I'm just kind of taking it, and you'll see, keeping it once again a little smaller in this direction. And then going over and one here. And you guys can keep in mind, sometimes the petals have gotten broken off from the wind, or, you know, they're not always perfect. And that's one of the things I like to keep in mind when I'm doing these. You just really just keeping like kind of like the curvature. Okay. I love how that looks. Like I said, every one of these are going to look different. And I'm going to add some more yellow because I feel that it really needs it. And then same thing with up here. And I'm just kind of dabbing it on because I want the brightness. Lovely. And then for fun, because I want to add just a hair of the purple, we can put that in. And you're going to see it's going to bleed, but that's kind of what we want. It's giving it a little bit more dimension. Okay. I love how that looks. Very lovely. Add a little bit more purple in here. Okay. And then I want to push some of this purple back. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of that yellow mix we had done. Very nice. And it's doing its thing. So now we can work on our stems. And I am going to use my size 4 long round Princeton Velvet Touch. And I am going to take a little bit of this sap green color. And I am going to mix it with a little bit of this Aquarius green. And it's going to come to kind of like a mid-range. And I am just going to go down and I want to add the stems first. And Chamomile is kind of like a wispy type flower. I love those wispy type that they look real dainty, and so we're just basically just going down, trying to keep in mind you want to keep it to the center of the flower. It just bled. But you know what? That's okay, because if you ever have grown chamomile, there is some green in there. But if you don't want that much, you just can kind of... We're going to go ahead and put a little bit more of the yellow, and we're just going to push that back. And that's okay. And if you want to bring the green back a little, kind of soaking up a little bit of that water. And look how beautiful that is, guys. That is beautiful. Love that. As Bob Ross would say, a nice little happy accident. So kind of doing the center here. And then we got this one. Okay, I love that. And then on chamomile, they have kind of like these little jaggedy type leaves. And I kind of like doing them. I think they're just kind of whimsical and fun. And you guys know I like my whimsical stuff. And then we can do another one here. And then let's put one up here, because I think our little stem here can use one. And you guys can be as loose and expressive with this part as you want. That's part of the fun in it. And we can put one maybe here, as if that flower is behind a leaf. Because they kind of grow up and they just have a bunch of leaves on them. And they're these little wispy type, really cute, fun, wonderful for tea flowers. I mean, oh, so amazing in tea. Okay, so we got that, and I think perhaps let's I almost think it needs another one, perhaps here. I'm taking some more of our mix. And just being super loose and expressive, guys. That's like the main thing. This isn't super hyper realistic. It's just fun. And let's do one here. Because on Chamomile, there is certainly a lot of leaves. Okay. So, I really like how that's looking. So now, let's see if we can add any more little bit of detail to it. I think this flower has lost a little bit. So, going back in with our brownish color, maybe add in some green. I'm going to add some green first, because I really like what it did there. Okay, now I'm going to pick up some of this. And what I want to do, going back to our filbert, getting a little bit more of our mix. And I want to put that in while that green is still wet. And look how much more depth that has. It just has so much more. Doing the same thing, but taking our yellow first, because I think this really needs brighten. And then taking our size 4 long round, and I just want to, that's a little much, but that's okay, taking it back and just giving it a little curl like that. Now I want to go ahead and push this back a little bit. This is where it's called the push and pull method. And then I'm going to take a little bit more of that yellow, and it's going to force that green back. Now this don't work with every color, but the combination of these two, it works really well. And look how much more depth and definition, look how much more depth is to that. I love it. Now for this one, I just think we needed to add a little bit more of the yellow. And I love how it looks. So if you guys like what you see, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so YouTube can let you know when I have another video up. And then once again, I apologize for the mishaps of the video, so last time. And don't forget, if you're in the Northwest area and you're interested in learning beginner watercolor, sign up at the Art League, and is finleyartleague.com. Thanks, guys. You have a blessed day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy painting!